LPT This is a better way to answer what is your greatest weakness. Take the opportunity to talk about a past flaw, how you found it, and then how you overcame it. This shows introspection, critical thought, growth, and initiative all in one answer. It will set you apart from the bros that answer this question with a humble brag. As I'm an adult in senior positions now, I usually say, I'm not as fast as I was when I was 20, nor as smart as I thought I was when I was 20. That usually gets a chuckle. If it doesn't, I know I'm not connecting with the interviewer and need to change tactics. Or go home. To answer this faithfully about a current weakness, it's good to talk about something that you're working on, have a solid plan for, and/or have taken steps to address. I reach to my pocket and pull out a card that says, I tend to be over-prepared on one side, and on the other side it says I rely on humor when I'm stressed. I like your attitude, but I'm stuck on is, which requires an answer for now, not your past, or am I reading too much into it? Boss, what's your greatest weakness? Employee, I'm honest. Boss, I don't think that's a weakness. Employee, I don't give a shit what you think. My greatest weakness is money. I need it to survive and to provide for my family. Severe nut allergy. Great. So you worked on your flaw and overcame it. Then you are flawless now? If not, what's the greatest flaw that you haven't overcome yet? Bold of you to assume I overcame a weakness. Better to talk about current weakness instead of skirting the answer. Talk about a current weakness that you've improved upon, what you've done to improve so far, and your plan to improve further. One tip someone gave me is to make the weakness one that isn't relevant to the job. So, for example, if you're interviewing for a marketing position, say, I'd like to be stronger at reading financial statements. I have a much better understanding than I did, but I'd still like to be a little more confident in interpreting them. Yay, going on about my past drug addictions in a job interview's totally gonna fly. Rolling on the floor laughing. I always say arts and crafts. Recently I've been using until recently I'd have said redacted, which really was the bane of my existence for years. It's something I put a lot of work into at my last job. And it was a struggle. But by the end, very recently, my reviewers were calling it one of my strongest attributes. That was very satisfying, and I'm proud of it. But it creates a problem in its own way. Because now I need a new answer for your question. That requires sitting down and reevaluating myself over time. And I haven't finished that process yet. After 5 years at one job and constantly being told by my manager I was too laser focused, I tried to use that as my greatest weakness in an interview and was told by the interviewer that I was humble bragging and they see being laser focused as a pure positive. No, I didn't get that job. My greatest weakness is that I sometimes have trouble discerning fact from fiction. Q, and your greatest strength? I'm Batman. Yes, just tell them your weaknesses, but also tell them how you deal with them. I hate this question. What's considered a flaw seriously depends on the company's culture, on the team and which strengths they already have, on the role, on your boss, etc. I don't know what people expect to get from the answer. I'm always honest, I'm impatient. And I'm not even trying to work on it. Just say interviews, I can never come up with the answers they want to hear. Does anyone even ask this interview question anymore? My greatest weakness is that I'm always honest and can't lie. I don't think that's really a weakness. Well, I don't give a fuck what you think. My greatest weakness is I have difficulty relating to others because I have no weaknesses. Addiction. 8 months sober from serious heroin abuse. Still think about it every day. But thanks to my family, I'm able to stay on the right track. However, I'm still addicted to smoking. And I'll hit a blunt most nights. But I feel like that's a pretty good compromise? I dunno. What's your greatest weakness? Honesty. I don't think honesty is a weakness, and I honestly don't give a shit what you think. And never answer gooning. Bullets. Definitely bullets. I think OP has a pretty good answer for someone clearly qualified for a job. But the best answer for this kind of question can depend on the specific situation. For example, if the job is obviously a bit of a stretch compared to your resume, then a good answer for this question might be to discuss what training you know you will need or what skills you plan to develop if you got the job. I know I don't have as much experience with X as some folks in roles like this. So my goal would be to take a class on this in the first 2 months. That can demonstrate humility and an interest in growing into the role. I'm a bad liar. It's a weakness because lying can come in handy. It's great because you know I'm trustworthy. Never raise your actual weakness during interviews, regardless of how great story you have to overcome it. Come up with some BS. They already know that. I hate this question in interviews. It is such a canned question, but it does require a canned answer. The best way to answer this question is, my biggest fault was XYZ and it caused problems. I learned how to overcome XYZ, and now because of that I'm a much better person now, able to do QRS. As well as other positive attributes and traits which I would love to apply to this job at your awesome company and hopefully help make it even more awesome. The way your mom milks my prostate. Excellent to use during a job interview. A very poor S. Honestly, though, once they pull out this kind of question, it's time to reconsider the position. Great tip. Sharing a past flaw and showing growth is a genuine way to stand out in job interviews. I've gone with that moment you've added all your ingredients. And it's time to fold the omelet in half. I usually undershoot the fold. But when I don't, I overshoot it. Helps me gauge their sense of humor. Then I follow up with a real answer. Is my greatest weakness is this interview question a valid response? Holding my tongue when people ask dumbass questions. I always answer with something positive. Like my greatest weakness is I'm too kind. Or too thorough. Or if I set a goal I get too committed at completing it that I forget to eat. Fuck these people. Once you're hired you'll typically report to someone else and all that shit is out the window cause they usually just care about you being there and doing your work to make money. I answered mature blondes when asked by a mature blonde woman interviewing me. The real-life pro tip is that you should always interpret that question as an insult. They are asking you that question to demonstrate their dominance and to make you their subordinate. I completely agree. Sharing personal growth and showing vulnerability in a job interview can make a lasting impression on the interviewer. Thank you. Truly do find this an awkward question to answer, despite I suppose answering it well enough in the past to get the role. I'm pretty bad at interviews. I disagree. As an interviewer, I'm not so much worried about what you are weak at. I want to know how you address things you struggle with. Knowing that you suck at a certain aspect of the job is okay if you have some kind of a strategy to address that within yourself. I already ask questions about shit you already had to deal with. The purpose of this question is to learn how you learned from those past experiences and how you are applying it to a current situation. It will also give me insight on how to help you improve going forward. Answering stupid questions. My greatest weakness is that I don't have any weaknesses. I found out I was perfect and overcame it by becoming addicted to hard drugs. Checkmate.